Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tales Podcast here today. We're back after a week's hiatus here to review Legend of the Sea Devils. We're here. It's Monday morning at like 2 a.m. because as soon as it's recorded, I'm going to edit it. It's going out. It's going out to you guys straight away. So, yes, this is very fresh. I've seen it once, but today I'm joined by John, Reese, and Beef to talk about the episode. Guys, first of all, how are we doing? How was our Easter? Have we enjoyed the long weekend? John, I'll start with you.
As we all know, Easter is the holiday in which we mark the passing on Christ and the resurrection on the Sunday. And to quote the scripture of Doctor Who, and in 2023, he was risen.
There we go. Fucking hell. One thing I will say though about Easter is, and this is something that my friend brought up to me, right? So we get Christmas, right? I get understand why we have the whole Santa thing, right? It kind of links in with gift giving and stuff. Where did the Easter Bunny come from? Where's the origin of that to do with the Christianity story?
Well, the origin of Santa is like pretty much Coca-Cola. So so the origin of the Easter Bunny, I don't know. It's probably fucking Cadbury's caramel.
Good point. Yeah. Reese, how you doing, my friends? Are you all right?
Yeah, can't complain very well. I watched Eve of the Darkness before.
I did as well, yeah. Yeah. Nice. And Beef, are you splendiferous as always?
Yeah, it's Sunday, isn't it? Where I am, and barbecue. So yeah, that's it.
There we go. Right, we're going to go straight into the episode. We're not going to do a breakdown this week because you guys should have seen it, and if you haven't seen it, go watch the episode. It came out literally yesterday, so go watch it. That's your background.
It goes without saying that this episode will contain
spoilers
for Legend of the Sea Devils and for the centenary trailer. So if you haven't seen those and you don't want to be spoiled, and you're listening to this, you're a bit of a fucking idiot, really. So
you've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned. Switch off now, otherwise be spoiled. Don't go crying to your mama and pissing and moaning to us if you get spoiled because we've told you to stop listening.
There we go. Absolutely. Right, we'll do general thoughts
So
first.
I'm in tip-top fine.
I'm loving it, mate. I'm loving this. I'm loving it. This is perfect. Right, we'll go Beef first. Beef, thoughts on the Sea Devils?
Well, I mean, it's Doctor Who doing something that they've not done for many, many years. To be honest with you, it's nice that they've actually gone back to something that probably some people might say might have been problematical in the past, which was the Chinese. And lo and behold, here we are. Pirates. Oh dear. Oh dear.
I had no idea where that was coming.
It was a mess, wasn't it? There's no other word for it.
Okay.
Everything looked really nice in long shot. And also when you had, for argument's sake, you had Warriors of the Deep where they complained that the lights were too bright. This was dark as fuck, to be honest with you. So you couldn't really see half the stuff with the Sea Devils for a lot of it anyway. And the story was a total mess. It jumped here, there, and everywhere and didn't have much sense. And it just felt, was massively disappointing. I went into it very blank because I didn't want to prejudge it. I looked at the trailers, was very sort of like numb over it. So then that way I couldn't be seen to be one way or another. And it was just not great.
Okay, this one's gonna be fun. Next up, I'll go Jono actually, because I think you guys are quite similar on this one. I have a feeling.
Very much like Beef, I kind of went into this with a bit of a blank mind. I was probably actually anticipating it a little better, to be honest. It's Sea Devils are one of those things. Ever since they brought the show back and they started bringing back old monsters, it's like I want them to bring back the Sea Devils. I'd love them to bring back the Sea Devils. You know, and so when we saw it, it's like, yeah, can't wait to see the Sea Devils. Can't wait for them to bring back the Sea Devils. I'm still waiting for them to bring back the Sea Devils. I'm sorry, what the fuck? Since when have Sea Devils been able to apparate inside a cloud of green fucking smoke? Since when have Sea Devils been able to Inspector Gadget, go Gadget boot, spring load jump onto a bloody boat in the sky when, you know, it's a fucking pirate ship? All you need to do is drop a rope and he can jump up onto it and climb up, or drop a ladder, or even just throw in a line that goes, you see those little anti-gravity balls, they mean he can jump, you know. Those weren't Sea Devils tonight. I don't know what the hell was going on. I mean, yeah, there were one or two nice little touches in there. I loved the bit when Doctor referred to him as a Sea Devil and he responded by calling him a land parasite, you know, because that is one of the things that's always been a little bit like, you know, Sea Devils, they're called Sea Devils, but like that's actually an insult. It's an insulting name. It comes from the very first story. It's like the guy who survives the fort attack that they find, who's like delirious, he calls him a Sea Devil, and it just, you know, it's not the name of their species. It's just an insult that humans given them. So I like the fact that the insult got spat back. But yeah, this was just a bit of a hot mess. A lot of stuff that happened, all felt very rushed, jumping from one set piece to another, to another, to another. There's one point at which the Doctor suddenly appears on the ship in the sky from the ship down below, and we don't know how the fuck she got up there. And it's just like, it felt like somebody's literally slashed at this in the editing and just gone, right, we need to get from there to there to there to there to there to there. Oh shit, we've got a trailer and we've got to find 3 minutes from somewhere, and oh shit, they're only giving us 50 minutes, so we've got to find another 10 minutes from somewhere, so we're going to take out all of the bits that link these things together, and we're going to take out all of the bits that give you some actual background to these guest characters that we have here. And you know, and oh, by the way, we're going to have this thing where at the start we establish that the Pirate Queen has killed this bloke's father, and then at the very end they're just going to cut all 45 minutes later because it's all forgotten about. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to like this, and that's something that I do feel I have to say, because I've already had criticism tonight from people saying, well, if you go into it not expecting to like it, you won't like it. Nah, sorry, I was excited for this. I really wanted to like it, and unfortunately, Alex, I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just fucking disappointed.
Right, well, thankfully I'm not on my own here. So Reese, I'm going to go to you, and please, I think it's going to be a 2-on-2, which is going to be quite good actually. It's going to be quite balanced because Reese is more in my court, which is nice. Reese, I think we're quite similar, aren't we, on this one? We had a bit of fun.
Worst episode. No, Joe. No, I agree. There is some issues with it. I'll start with those first. I was really drawn in by the start of it. I thought it looked amazing, but like I said, by the end it kind of got really messy, and it was like, okay. But no, I did have a good time with it. I thought it was quite good fun. I was quite like the pace of it. I was really drawn at the beginning. I thought the cinematic stuff it looked really, really good. Love the stuff with how they sort of did Dr. Nyaz and that, and the Sea Devils, it did feel like the Sea Devils were kind of an afterthought. It felt like they kind of kept the story and thought, oh, we'll just put the Sea Devils in and just to make the fans happy, I guess. But no, I just enjoyed quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same. I had a lot of fun. I think this is the best special Doctor I've done in years, and I'm saying that it's on the level of like Day of the Doctor for me. I don't love Day of the Doctor. I like Day of the Doctor as like a mid-episode for me. It's up there with that. I know, John, you're looking at me like that. It's crazy. I had a good time. Do you know what
have you eaten a lot of fucking eggs today?
No,
are you like on some diabetic rush?
I've had no chocolate today. I've not drank.
Chris Chibnall has done 3 specials better than this.
No, I would agree. I would agree with that.
Revolution, Eve of the Daleks, and oh gosh, whichever the middle one was with Barrowman, unfortunately.
Barrowman and the Daleks.
Yeah, all three of those were better than this.
I would agree.
Better than Eve.
So hang on, you're saying you would agree, but at the same time you're saying this is the best special that you've had, because
I'd say it's one of the best. I'd say
all three of those were specials.
I suppose
it can't be the worst special of this era and the best one that we've had in years.
Right. Right, cool. If you're if you're cutting down, I suppose they are special. I kind of count them as like serious hangovers. Yeah, you're right. I would say
the story doesn't even make sense.
I would. To me, it did. I was loving it. I think this was one of the better stories Chibnall's told in a while.
I mean, if we're gonna write off Christmas and New Year's Day episodes and say they're not specials, then of course it's the best special we've had in years.
Okay. This one's not as good as the first one, but better than the other two. I can't remember what they're called in what particular order, but I
thought Eve of the Daleks used its time much better.
Oh God, it was
right. I thought Revolution of the Daleks, although there were issues with it, I thought it held together better than this, and Resolution was great.
This is sloppy and lazy at its highest, mate. I'm sorry. She lambasts. Number one, why on earth did they keep Ji-hun alive? Why? He's kicking all his crew off the ship. They don't know why. Oh, but I've given you the keystone to take away and hide, but none of them know why they're being kicked off the ship. Makes no fucking sense. The Doctor lambasts Ji-hun for killing the Sea Devil, and then Dan kills 6 of them. Right, and then
old Dan Lewis, isn't he?
And then to add insult to injury, he basically copies the end of the Timeless Children, because I'm going to stand here and I'm going to hold this together. Oh no, you leave it, Doctor. I'm going to hold it for you. The Doctor's fine with that and fucks off and leaves him to die because he's lost all his life. So yeah, hard cheese, old chap. Anyway, well, bye. And that's the Doctor just running away and let someone else carry the bag.
I don't want to sound ultra negative about this, right? So I've talked about what I don't like. I would say, in my view, what I've seen tonight is probably the strongest performances that we've had from Jodie and John, and certainly the strongest performance that we've had from Mandip. I think all three of our central cast were really good. I loved the scene at the end. I loved how they kind of decided to resolve or not resolve, if you like, the Thasmin question. And there was a part of me that really sat there and why couldn't Ten and Rose have had that conversation and it would have worked so much better? I loved that. I loved the conversation between Dan and Diane at the end, although how the fuck did he get a phone signal in 1804?
And he does sort of undo her storyline and take away her agency.
I disagree with you there, Beef. I disagree with you.
I don't know.
I felt there's something they'll probably do.
I don't know. It's still on her terms, isn't it? It's still on her terms. He's reaching out. The ball is still in her court, and so she actually chooses to pick up the phone. She actually chooses to go back to him and kind of be, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. So, because the whole thing with the end of Flux was, mate, I've been kidnapped and put in a fucking space prison. Don't want to think about the old rumpy pumpy right now.
Yeah.
And she's had a bit of time to process that now.
Yeah.
And I also love that we continue the little theme of like any act of violence or whatever that Dan commits. When somebody goes, where'd you learn to do that? His basic answer is, I'm a Scouser.
Yeah, I love it.
Look, mum as well.
When I was watching this, John, and when I looked at the reaction in our chat and online and stuff, I was thinking about the quote you said a few weeks ago. I think we were reviewing Mind of Evil, even though that one's a good script itself. You were saying the lesser Pertwee episodes that maybe don't have the best script are good because Pertwee's in them, and you can find that. So I think this might be me and Jodie. I'm a big 13th Doctor fan. maybe the worst, maybe the scripts that perhaps don't work for me. I'm not saying that, by the way, as you say in the show.
No, I mean, I've said it on this podcast numerous times where Pertwee's concerned. I put bad Pertwee. I mean, we'll get onto this in a few weeks' time, I think, because there's at least one person in here I'm going to have this conversation with, rather.
I'm screwed.
But bad Pertwee is better than mediocre anybody else because he's got Pertwee and he always gives 100%. I also apply that to Peter Capaldi, actually. You don't get any Capaldi episodes, with the possible exception of In the Forest of the Night, that rank below like a 5 out of 10 because they got Peter Capaldi, and every time he's doing the excellent most with what he's got. I don't think that Jodie's done that all the way through, but tonight I certainly got that. And the fact that actually she had that slightly more emotional stuff to do with Yaz, because let's not forget that is where she essentially has made her bread and butter. That's where she's come from as a dramatic actress. And, so doing those emotional things, that's what she's famous for. And that really worked for me tonight. And looking at the reaction across Twitter, because obviously I'm not a young lesbian that's wanted, in case you haven't noticed, I'm not a young lesbian that's wanted this to happen for years. But looking at the reaction across Twitter, the general response to it seems to be that actually that was very beautifully done and very nicely done. And the fact that this was co-written with a woman, I think I'd be interested to know how much Emma Road fed into that scene. But I get the impression, it had a little bit of a woman's hand on it.
Which, interestingly, the title card, she was in front of Chibnall, so I assume she had more of the majority.
Yeah, I'd say, John, like you said in your prelude when we talk about opinions, I think it's the perfect way of handling the, if we want to call it the Phasmin relationship. And I don't think it's the end of it. I think we're going to get a bit more. I think we could delve a bit further. But overall, I think the Doctor has summed it up perfectly. Rather than the Doctor dismissing Yaz, we get that admission of, the Doctor likes Yaz, but it can't happen. And I sort of like the fact that we've not gone down this doomed lovers relationship, as it were, where as viewers we know that they're together, but she only got one left, so it's a bit awkward.
It's been done, and it shouldn't have been done in the past.
Yeah,
and so I really like this. I really like it.
But go back to me and why I found it fun. I honestly say it's a mess, and I can't disagree with you. There are other elements of the story. I personally think the Sea Devils are great. I know you're gonna disagree, and I know you don't like the high jumping. I don't really care because I don't have an attachment to them as villains. I think they're cool. I love the Sea Devil story.
I wouldn't have minded if it was any other kind of monster or alien. They just weren't Sea Devils.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, it did feel like an afterthought, like for being like,
we've got this in the sea, so we're going to make them Sea Devils. And I mean, it wasn't even like. It didn't even draw too much into like the history of the Sea Devils and the fact that to them we're the aliens. It was just like a kind of standard threat, and so it was almost like, we're going to have them appear out of nowhere. We're going to have them jump really high. You could create any alien to do that. Why would you take an existing one that doesn't have those abilities?
Why do you need a ship? Well, it just looks cool.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't mind the fact that they've gone, it looks cool. I think that's a cool thing. Like, I get it's different, right? And some people have these, like, again, it's not going to work for everyone. For me, I thought these new additions and new abilities, they worked for me. I don't mind that they come out and they went from a puff of smoke. I understand that you could go, well, it makes no sense given what we know before. I'm sort of like, I can look past it and go, cool. I guess people can. I don't like. For me, I've always never been bothered because I always see the Daleks always different every time you see them. So I kind of get used to it. I've kind of become sort of desanitized the fact that. But I get it.
It just feels like a shame, given how actually one of the strengths of this era has been how Chibnall has treated returning monsters in the past. So he got the Sontarans pretty much spot on, more than RTD did, more than Moffat did. He probably got the best Sontarans since they were introduced in 1974. He got the Angels very much spot on. he's done very well with the Master and the Cybermen and the Daleks. So it just feels like a shame that actually here I think he's lost the essence of what the Sea Devils are. And even the Silurian two-parter in series 5, which he wrote. I actually thoroughly, there were issues with it, but the Silurians weren't one of those issues with it. They were actually very true to what they should be. I just don't feel we had that here with the Sea Devils.
It seemed like style over substance.
Yeah, they definitely, you could tell that you could, like you said, you could have put any villain in there, and they put the Sea Devils in there for name value. And we'll get into more name value being dropped into things for reasons I don't like later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it comes to that place of you said, John, if you're attached to a certain era or character, you could just sort of watch even the Mare episode and go, do you know what, I had a good time. And yeah, this is not one of my favorite Jodie episodes, far from it. There are definitely certain issues with the story. There are, like you said, there are points where Jodie just teleports from place to place for plot convenience. And apparently I've heard that there was some things cut, for time, which is really unfortunate because nobody needs an hour of Country Files. So surely we can cut into Country Files time. But
I mean, they put The Lion King on before it. How many times has everybody seen that?
It's so good though. I'm sorry. I was so happy this time being able to watch.
I would say putting The Lion King on before it was a mistake.
Yeah, but it was so good this time in the Jodie era to watch The Lion King before an episode and not Country File, because I was actually enjoying myself even before Doctor Who came on, sort of going, when the fuck's this going to end?
It gives it a lot to live up to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you've been waiting for Doctor Who to come on and you've been watching 10 minutes of like farming weather forecasts, people talking about different climate attractors and horse shit, then that's it's not going to take much to impress you after that.
No,
it's a shame because
if you've been watching the Lion King, you've got quite a high bar to come down from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're watching Disney Hamlet versus Doctor Who episode.
But I don't know. I just, like I said, it's one of those weird ones. With those Doctor Who episodes, right, where it's one of those ones that, like, notoriously, it's not good. For example, we take Time Flight or something like that from what we reviewed recently, right? And John, you mentioned that some people that we know really enjoy that episode, and their kind of response to that is they just enjoy it, right? Which is fair enough. This is how I feel about this one in particular. I just got something from this. I watched it and I went, I had a good time.
I never thought I'd say much positive, but what I would say is this is better than Time Flight.
Yes. I God forbid, I hope when we get to it in a few weeks' time, if this gets below Time Flight, you might see me pop an aneurysm. Like I'm like a blood vessel will just explode. Out of my head.
I cannot actually remember how much I scored Time Flight, and I've got a feeling that I might actually score this lower. But
please, oh God.
But it's a shame because I thought the pace at the start was really good. I thought.
I was the opposite, mate. I thought the start was crap, and then there's more.
The intro was great with that statue. Yeah. That was great.
I didn't care for that.
And like that sort of fast 5-10 minutes of Sea Devil massacring a fucking village.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a shame.
I didn't care.
It's a shame it just kind of all went to sea after that, if you like.
Nice, I appreciate that. But one thing I do appreciate, and I know I said this on our Twitter space, John, is how the writers split the team up on this one. I don't know why Chibnall didn't employ these tactics when he had another companion to deal with. But I like the fact that Jay's gone, right, Dan's with this person, we can go and do this, he'll be fine, and you could say that's the Doctor being quite risky, but I think by this point, obviously, it's very implied that these three have been traveling for a while, and she has trust in Dan to look after himself and sort of, at least for a small amount of time.
But she also knows that she needs to have a little chat with Yaz, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She also, so it kind of serves two purposes in terms of, I can trust this guy. Of course you can trust this guy. You can take out 6 fucking Sea Devils with one sweep of a sword.
Yeah.
But there's also that kind of thing of, well, look, I need to smooth things over with Yaz because I now know what I know. I mean, they haven't kind of established how long after Eve of the Daleks this is, but it kind of struck me as the first opportunity that the two of them might have had to actually discuss what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. And overall, I think we can. I really, again, I'm loving John Bishop in Doctor Who. I have to say, I'm really annoyed that he's only essentially in 3 stories, or 4, if you like, 4. Sorry, really. Obviously 10 episodes, but I would love to have seen him in more, or 9 episodes. It's 9, isn't it? It's 9.
I love the fact when I loved when the guy said, "Oh, you'd get around quite well for somebody. You must be able to fight quite well, like being 70."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm 42."
Yeah, overall, I think he's brilliant. But you say, I think the people that saw the show here was Jodie and Mandip. I think, again, to have to pull those scenes off, and I think the writing was stellar, but they elevated those scenes.
Yeah,
and
the scene on the ocean floor where they're in the TARDIS door, and particularly the scene at the beach at the end, I thought was beautifully done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, we can't talk, like you say, John, we're not in the position to talk about the accuracy or that, but I can say that it balanced the awkwardness, but also the chemistry. And I think the dialogue was really sharp.
Well, I think you can comment on it from the Doctor's perspective, because that if you've been watching the show, that that the Doctor, even in the new iteration of the show, has been down this avenue certain times before, and it hasn't worked out. And that's sort of what I suppose the Doctor's trying to let down Yaz easy and saying, "I've been down this way before. It doesn't work. Can we just sort of stay in the present and do what we are?" And that I think that's understandable and that's reasonable. So you can comment on it to that respect, because that was well done.
And I think you can also comment in terms of knowing what other people think, and just a simple look through Twitter tonight. Some of those that really are quite emotionally invested in this and really have wanted a proper sort of ending for it, they seem to be happy with how tonight has gone. I've seen a lot of people saying that they are happy with how tonight has gone. So yeah, although we aren't in a position to comment ourselves, we can certainly amplify or report on what others appear to have said, and people do generally seem to be happy with it.
Yeah, and as a viewer of the show, obviously not being talking about the actual representation, I thought it was handled well. I think, like you say, I don't think it's the end of it. I think we will perhaps get something between the two of them before Jodie's time is up. But I think in terms of there being, the one that I was really worried about is, as a viewer, having the knowledge of them getting together in this and then knowing it's not going to go well in one episode's time. I think that would have been not only bittersweet, that would have been, a bit stupid, because you've just had, essentially you would have this new couple, which would be brilliant for representation, and then you just take it away within an episode. It would be weird. Whereas, we
don't necessarily know that it's not going to go well, because don't forget that Rose got a happy ending. And we've already had one episode with multiple Jodies.
I suppose.
This is a kind of fantasy setup where you can do anything. So we don't know for a fact it's not going to go well. It's not constrained by kind of the bounce.
It's just how it's serviced is the critical thing.
Just because we know that Jodie's going to regenerate doesn't mean that Yaz is not going to have a kind of happy ending. For example, if you look at say someone like Bill Potts.
Bill. Sorry.
She actually ends up with a happy ending when you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
I
forget.
We could have the same here. We could have
just don't listen to Lockdown Who, because it doesn't end well. But I suppose in the kind of show, yes, it does. But yeah, you're right. I suppose. I don't know. I did find the Journey's End Rose thing a really big cop out, but hey, that's just me, because I hated them as a couple anyway. So I would have rather had.
But at least they. It was the best way to get out of a shitty situation that RTD had put them in.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, overall, I thought the scenes were really good. I thought it was the emotional drive of the story. And actually, I was saying this to Reese on voice note that really I was kind of not knowing what was going to happen between them. That was kind of the investment drive. And like you said, the Sea Devils do take a back seat in their story, and it does sort of get a bit muddled as to what's going on. But not only did we get a badass 5 minutes of fighting, and I really enjoyed I like a sword fight. I'm a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, like the first one. I like the sword fight. Was it a bit stupid? Yes. Did I care? No. I was having a good time. Like I said, it might not be the most, might not be the most extravagant fight scene you've ever seen it ever, but I had a good time.
Yeah, I'd have just liked to see more of it. I wanted more pirates. I wanted like full-on pirate versus Sea Devil battles. And we just didn't get that, unfortunately.
No, the cool bit of the episode, I'd say, was when they shot cannons at that creature thing. I essentially spot them back out, conjoined them in like a triple cannon. I thought that was really sick.
That was explained as well. Where did that go?
What, the monster thing?
The one that wasn't even the Merker.
No.
Yeah, they kept saying a different name. And I was like, that's not Merker, is it?
They called it. Well, I don't know if it was the name of the monster, but the audio description described it as a Leviathan.
They called it, I think it was a she-heng or something like that, which I looked up on the internet and could find nothing for it.
Chinese for Merker.
And it didn't really serve much purpose because it just made for like a very sort of Jaws-esque bit with the solo fisherman.
That was cool, but like
that was cool. That was cool. That was cool.
I just think it looked just like a little bit like tacked in, to be honest with you, and you would have been better served having, like John said, more pirates. Because that's what you're saying this is.
Or more villages getting massacred by Sea Devils, and just build them up as a bit more of a threat.
I was hoping for a cameo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Biff. Go on.
Yeah, no. It just seemed to be like it sort of, the doctor showed up and said, "What was the thing that was in that rock?" Well, you've just seen the Sea Devil. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like there were questions. It was asking questions after you've already had the answers and sort of wasting time on things that really didn't matter.
Yeah, and I've got to say, unfortunately, the exposition in this was ramped up again. I thought we'd kind of resolved that problem a little bit across Flux and Eve of the Daleks, but this was almost up to series 11 levels of exposition tonight.
Do you know what? Again, I don't know why. I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with you. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me tonight. I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it wasn't there. I'm not saying what I was looking at it. I was going, yeah, I get that. Yeah. I know what's going on.
Have you had a nice weekend, Alex?
No, not really. Not really. Maybe this is why I'm so positive. I don't know. I just like
you get laid last night or
no.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, there's this keystone that stops. That is this keystone of unimaginable power that can freeze time, can trap someone in stone, but really doesn't actually. It's like a glorified Alka-Seltzer that will just dissolve in water.
Have you had a nice roast dinner today and lots of chocolate?
No, I've not. I have my family don't celebrate Easter, so there's no eggs, no nothing. But yeah,
I mean, I would start a GoFundMe to get you some chocolate, but we've already got one.
We've already got one, not for chocolate. Yeah, just I don't know. I said, I'm not saying these issues weren't there. I don't know what it was today. I just had a good time. I watched it and I went, yeah, I enjoyed that. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? God, no. We've seen so much worse than this, and I'm a defender of the Chibnall era. I think there are only like a few really, really, really bad episodes of Jodie's era. Arachnid in the UK being by far the worst.
Can I say something though, Alex?
Yeah,
Chris Chibnall said before he got asked to come and back and stay and do the centenary special that this was going to be a regeneration story.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked it if it was a regeneration story.
So
I'll tell
it's
you
sort of that, and that's what makes it seem like even weirder that this just does not fit at all, really.
But it doesn't need.
it would have had to be at least a good half hour longer.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't need. This is the thing, though, right? Is that again? Maybe I'm coming in with different expectations, but I didn't need this to be a big grand piece of a puzzle and fit and make it like a trilogy. I know this is obviously 3 specials, but I didn't need them to like interlink too much. I think overall the core values of the characters and what keep me going. Like John said, I loved the scene with Diane and Dan at the end. I thought that was great. I overall just had a really, really good time, and I've enjoyed myself throughout these specials. And I watched Eve earlier, and it still holds up. For me, anyway, I thought it was really solid.
I mean, unfortunately, it did. Although, yeah, you don't necessarily expect it to be part of a big wide arc. It didn't do much by itself either. It didn't do much in sort of as a standalone.
I don't. Yeah, but does it need to do much? Is my question. And if your answer is yes, that it's just different expectation, which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know. I was fine with this just being in the middle of the road.
But for me, any episode of Doctor Who needs to do 2 things. It needs to entertain me and it needs to make sense. There were parts of this that entertained me. The majority of it didn't. As to whether it made sense, I mean, it was cut together like Stevie Wonder with a pair of scissors did it.
It's a shame. I think the pacing at the start of that was right, and then it kind of, when on the ship it explained the plot, it was like quick, and fight, and it was like, oh, now okay, forget about now, fight.
Yeah, it was almost like watching it on 1.5 speed.
This isn't classic Who. We don't do that.
It's some people's approach to classic Who, but give me fucking classic Who over this any day.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is far and wide better than Warriors of the Deep, but you can't get much worse than that shit pile.
It's far more better than Warriors of the Deep, but having your toenails removed with a pair of
tweezers by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, that's it. Look, with rusty tweezers or clean tweezers, it's the still you're having your toenails taken out.
If that's the bar that we're setting, then
for me, you're gonna hate this, John, but for me, it's up there with the original Sea Devil story, which I find is a solid, fun romp, and this is the same.
I'm about to leave now.
I know some people love that one.
Get in the bin.
No, I'm serious.
I say it's one of my better Jodie ones. I think it's.
I think I don't know. Like I say, I really value. Oh, okay. I think with the Sea Devil, I think it's like a. How do I defend myself here? It's like an okay serial as the Sea Devils. It's middle of the road, Pertwee. Sorry. There's a sword fight in the middle, which I really like. It's better than Doctor and the Silurians, which we all know, but I think is really medium as well. So
you might get kicked out of your podcast.
You're really not. I found this seems a bit where you're making a case.
Yeah, guys, just remember who is hosting this fucking.
I was about to.
Right, this is a preview for a couple of weeks' time.
I mean, I can't boot Alex out of his own podcast because that will screw up the recording for this. There is a little button here I can press.
I can mute myself on my mic if you want me to.
I've just muted you and you're still talking. That's not fair.
Ha!
No, I muted myself actually. I muted myself. I hit the wrong button.
I'm just gonna wait.
There you go. Alex Kingdom, after 2 years of tyranny, the Timeless Podcast has now been taken over. It's now the Alexless Podcast. I'm your new host, John Cook. We've all been waiting for this moment to
freedom
to come along. There will no longer be Pertwee slander
or tyranny.
Yep, there will no longer be Pertwee slander in this podcast. And you will all bow down to your new master and leader, Mr. John Cook. My shirts are not as exciting. I don't have the cool little intro catchphrase, although my outro catchphrase is quite good.
Yeah.
But I can promise you a future of lots of Venusian Aikido, no more Pertwee slander, and no more shit opinions.
I'm very scared for if we ever do a doctor ranking, because I feel Pertwee's going to be like not in the top, shall we say? I won't say near the bottom. I'll say not in the top, because near the bottom would be incorrect. He would be in the middle, which John would still kill me for. But yeah, I don't know.
There are maybe 3 or 4 other actors who have played the role who I will accept people placing above John Pertwee on personal preference. However, he is, by any metric that you choose, a better Doctor than 8 or 9 of the others that have played the role.
There we go.
No, I accept that there are things around personal opinion and styles that would put others above him, certain others above him. But there are some people that have played this role that if somebody put them above John Pertwee,
You'd cry.
I wouldn't cry. They would cry, because I would decimate them with my words.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be, if we ever did that, it'd be, sorry, it's interlude, but you guys like it, you ramble. It's one of your favorite parts of me and John just go off on one. I feel like if we ever did a doctor's ranking, it'd be quite flipped, because you put Capaldi quite high, whereas again,
and yet we agree on Smith.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? And I wouldn't put Eccleston high either, so Reese would want to kill me. Eccleston would actually be near the bottom. There, you want to talk about a doctor being near the bottom? Yeah, he'd be down there.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody knows how my top 5 is constructed. It's Pertwee at the top, then Smith, then it's PCAP and Eccleston, probably vying for 3rd and 4th between themselves. 5th place is always kind of up for grabs, but it normally comes down to either Troughton or Tommy Boy, or if we're including expanded media, McGann.
There we go. It's kind of interesting if we ever do that.
You haven't got to do a Doctor's Ranking podcast now.
Yeah, there we go. I'll just do a YouTube video instead, and I'll get shit for it. But yeah, back to this. Like I said, there are issues with it. It's just one of those episodes that I could just see past them. I don't know why. Yeah. I just the episode grabbed me. I remember speaking to Reese and just going, "Yeah, I had fun." And Reese was like, "Yeah, that was how I kind of went away from it." I was like, "Yeah, I had a good time." Like, is it perfect? God, no. But like I said in our group chat, there's no episode to me that is perfect. I could give an episode a 10 out of 10 in terms of enjoyment, but it doesn't mean it's perfect.
Yeah, but it can also start well, but not sustain it and fall to bits. And that's where I feel this was.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I thought the first 10 minutes were boring as fuck, and it got really good towards the end. So the intro was great. The opening scene with the statue, the scene on the beach with the force field, and right up until the bit when they catch the Sea Devil in the net, and I'm going to myself, well, what's the fucking point of that? He's got a sword, and then he literally cuts through it with a sword. I was with it.
Yeah, I also got issues though, because the editing in this wasn't great. Not only just people teleported and things making no sense, there were scenes where certain shots just made no sense. Like, I was still trying to wrap my head around how they even got the rope, and I assume it was on the floor. But how did they get there? That was the first one. I was like, what?
If they called this Legend of the Sea Devils, and I've kind of said it doesn't feel like a Sea Devils episode. If I were naming this episode, I would have called it Doctor Who and the MacGuffins of the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, fair point.
So it was all side quests, mate.
I
I
like a side quest.
It's a good job it was set by the sea because there were so many fucking shark jumps in this.
Yeah. The edit was really choppy. There were shots that didn't match up. The other thing that I would say was edited quite well was the fight scene. But again, with John, I didn't think it lasted long enough. I didn't think.
Yeah. The fight scene was very well choreographed, very well shot. I just wish there was more of it.
Do you think it needed that extra 10 minutes?
Yes.
I think it needed at least an extra 10 minutes. I think it's almost like this was going to be an hour, and then they said we're cutting 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that, they said, "Oh no, we're going to stick a trailer in the end, so you got to cut another 3 minutes off."
Yeah.
This needed to be at least an hour long.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought our side characters ranged from really good to shit. I thought Madam Ching was a really cool character throughout. That other bloke, I don't know his name, like you said, John, his dad gets murdered, and by the end of it, he's hugging Madam Ching. And I'm saying that right, by the way. I don't want to say it is Madam Ching, right? I'm not.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, my old man doesn't listen to this podcast, but I mean, what I would say is, Dad, if this ever gets across to you, if you were murdered, I would not be cuddling the person that did it 45 minutes later, even if they were quite an attractive lady like Madam Ching.
Yes. But yeah, so he was terrible. I thought Madam Ching, though, was actually really good throughout. I thought her banter back and forth, the character's really cool. The other guy, the pirate.
I'd love to have seen her fleshed out a bit more.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see her like getting her kids back, but I guess due to COVID.
Yeah. What happened with that? Where was her crew? Yeah. Where were they stored? That was one thing.
Again, it's like, what are we supposed to think? Like, oh, she's adopted the bloke whose dad she's murdered or something. You're my child now. It's like what?
And by the way, I've sailed this whole ship on my own.
Yeah. One thing I also though, I thought the music this week was really good. I've been a Segan defender. I wouldn't say he's as interesting as Murray Gold in terms of your big tunes, but I'd say overall he's been decent, especially in season 12, 13, or Flux and this. I thought he's been all right this week. I really enjoyed it.
I tend not to notice Segan's scores very much.
Yeah, the only thing I picked up was the Doctor theme, the 13 theme, and that was it. That's the only thing I really picked up on tonight.
Oh, whereas I'm not a massive Murray fan. But we'll get into that in a different podcast because I'll probably get a lot of shit. I don't like Murray Gold. There we go. Give me Dudley Simpson any day of the week.
I think we'd all take Dudley Simpson over anybody.
But yeah, just overall, I think we should get into wrapping up now, guys, and say if you really want to mention and
like I say, one of the things that really did bug me, because like I say, I watched this once and then I watched it back a second time, and it was just having that same Ko-Sharma's trope at the end with Ji-hun, which was like the Doctor then like makes some cock up, holding the thing, and it's someone else stepping in to just say, no, I'm going to hold this, you go. And it's like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cheers, laters.
Yeah, they're even like running off straight away, like before he says goodbye.
Yeah, it's not even like, all right, cheers, mate. Yeah, it's like, and literally, it's just like, well, you've just taken Ko-Sharma's and just put him in another episode, and I just thought, well, that's just like, oh god.
Right, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care if people die in the name of the Doctor, which if you do and you think the Doctor should be like, oh, I just think it worked. I get why I feel like the Doctor shouldn't let anybody die. It should be the Doctor's first priority should be everybody lives, which I get. I thought, yeah, okay, yeah, he's done wrong. He made mistakes.
I know, but it's a repetitive mistake. Find another way. The Doctor's supposed to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah, but mate, I just
And it's just the same.
you-
It's the same thing again.
okay, right, Beef, right. This is what I'll say. You go through a classic hero at any point. How many times could we bring this stuff up?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because this is within the same iteration of the Doctor. And the Doctor say, no, you spent your whole life being kept prisoner. I've been, I found this situation before. And if you're going to make a happy ending for every character, even one where their dad's been murdered and getting into a very unusual relationship with an elder lady pirate, you can sort out a brother that's been kept alive for basically no reason whatsoever for 274 years.
Yeah,
it's like it's the death of, it's the death of a guest character and the lack of emotional impact over it. So yeah, we saw it with Koshamas in the Timeless Children. Let's not forget we saw it with Jericho in Flux as well, actually, because he was trapped for like 3 years, traveling around all over the place. Again, died, and Yaz and Dan had spent 3 years traveling with him, which is like, well, it was cup of tea.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Who was that guy? Who was that guy with the great hat and white suit again?
My favorite thing from Flux was still when Vinda found out that Belle was pregnant and just didn't care. That's still my favorite bit of dialogue. He's like, "Oh, cool," and then we just move on. Like that was my favorite interaction. I was just out there like, "What?" But yeah, no. So I get it again. Maybe I'm just in a good mood. I'm in a good mood today. I think I just really enjoyed myself. I needed this, and it gave me that little bit of levity that I've needed. But I get it. That doesn't always work.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You murdered my father. Yes, Ricardo. Doesn't quite work, does it?
No, absolutely not. Right. If everyone's got everything out the way, I'll go to scores on the doors. We'll go Jono. We'll go in Jono Reese Beef order, I think, because it's always just nice to go left to right for me visually anyway.
I'm being generous here. 4.
Yow. Reese, what we saying?
8.5.
Nice. Beef.
It's 3.5, to be honest with you.
I knew I wasn't going to be the lowest.
I'll stick it. Is it 8.5? Is it 9? So John, look, you can look at it like that. I don't care. I had a good time. I don't care.
Many people died, but I had a good time.
I mean, bear in mind, I know how you've ranked literally every other story in Doctor Who.
I'll give it. Okay, I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. I had a good time. I do. Sometimes Doctor Who stories don't need to have the best story for me. They don't need to have the best characters. If it's a fun romp that takes me away from all the shit, 50 minutes, job done for me. You don't. Some people put episodes on pedestals. Some people don't. I'm not saying you guys are doing that. But sometimes episodes work for some people. Sometimes they don't. And that's fine. So people on Twitter, don't start telling people that they can't have an opinion because you're wrong.
Yeah, not just people on Twitter, just people in general.
Don't worry, people on Twitter are only talking about the trailer.
Oh yes, which we need to talk.
There's not been much discussion about this episode at all on Twitter.
Right,
it's all been about the trailer.
I'll start with the trailer. I dislike this trailer. Kill me. I know. Look at that face. Right, no. Let me explain before you mute me, because I said this to Reese.
Well, no,
right?
you say you more dislike what they reveal. That's what you're trying to.
Yes, okay. I dislike the fact that they revealed all of that in a trailer. Now, look, I understand. This is coming from a Doctor Who fan's perspective, who's going to watch the episode regardless, right? I understand the essence of right. You want to put these reveals in. I'm so much more a fan, though, of just seeing it in the episode itself, not going into it knowing these things. And I get why you put them in there, because you have to hype up episodes. You have to give people a reason to watch and go, this episode's going to have this in it. And all that. But for me, it's the equivalent of putting the Spider-Man in the Spider-Man trailer. Like, if they did that, I would have, even though we sort of knew they were going to be in it, I'd rather just not seen it. I get why.
Alex. You're right. They didn't put the Spider-Man in the Spider-Man trailer, but they did give you the Green Goblin and they gave you a few other things. And then when you went to see Spider-Man, because of the surprises that they'd revealed, you got a load more stuff.
This is
What
also
you-
what I said.
What is there telling you that this
That's
is
everything.
all
That's
that
it,
they've
yeah.
got?
This
Not-
is
not-
Jimbo.
I can
nothing.
Maybe 10
guarantee-
seconds.
I can
next time trailer.
guarantee you that this is not all that they have got.
I can agree with you, and this is why, and Reese can back me up on this. Legit, I said to him, I will eat my words, and I'll say that is a good trailer on the footstone that isn't everything.
Yeah,
if
so you
there
gotta
is-
wait. You gotta
If
wait.
there is more stuff, then I'll go. Do you know what?
mean-
Fair play.
We
But if-
already know, but we already know it's not everything. We know Bradley's coming back.
Oh, I didn't until like the other week, but yeah, I found
Oh.
out. But yeah, I'm worried that Bradley thing's going to be like a one scene thing, though. That's all I'm saying. And if that is the case, then
Yeah,
bother
but
me.
we don't know that. But that one
No,
in the
no, no.
trailer, was it?
No, exactly. Again, I'm not. I'm
But
just
we
saying.
already know. We already know that there is going to be stuff in this episode that is not in the trailer.
Yeah, I again, I agree with you. I'm just saying that I hope the stuff that they didn't put in the trailer was things of note, right? So I don't want it to be this character pops up for 2 seconds in a cameo. Like I'm saying that things that were in this trailer, like those characters need to impact the story. So I'm saying they need to either have another companion that they've not shown yet, who's in it a lot, or another doctor, or another villain, or something. I don't. I get why they did it. Marketing is everything. You need to be like, oh look, watch this episode because the characters you liked from previous stuff's in it again. I get it. I'm just saying, as a viewer, as a person that's going to watch Doctor Who anyway, I'm a sucker for not knowing. But and again, it's my fault for watching the trailer at the end of the day. It was a good trailer. I'm just saying that I'm somebody that likes to go in, especially moments like that. Like imagine we didn't know Tegan or Ace were going to be in it. We watched it, we're like, that's fucking cool.
So what would you have wanted the trailer to show you then?
Again, I don't know. It's a weird. Again, I realize my opinion is entirely fucking backwards because the trailer did its job down to a T. Right? I want to watch that episode. I love the trailer in essence, and I even said that Reese heard my initial reaction. I was like, "Holy fuck, that was incredible!" But I'm sat here going, "If that is it, you're already building up this expectation of what this episode is going to be."
Oh, you've mentioned 3 times that Reese heard your reaction. Reese, when you heard his reaction, please tell me you thought, what is this twat talking about?
Well, initially, when your initial reaction was like, what the F, what the F, what the F? And then when you felt the thing, like, oh, I was thinking, I do disagree with Alex, I think you just,
It's fine.
chill out.
It's fine. It's fine.
I want a trailer, but I don't know what I want in a trailer. But I really like that trailer. So.
Yeah, I want a trailer. I don't know what I want in it, but I don't want it to tell me things that are going to happen in the episode.
Yeah. Look, so I get my opinions backwards. I
want a trailer for a different program.
Give me more Country File.
Yeah, Country File.
But look, it was a great trailer, right? So we can tell from this trailer we're getting the return of Master, Daleks, Ashard, and the Cybermen, Ace, Tegan, Unit. Hopefully this time, Unit will do something with Kate. Fingers crossed. But yeah, no, it looks great, right? And I'm not gonna deny that it doesn't look great. I like it. Just comes from an opinion of part of me wishes I didn't see that. But
I mean, there's other things that we'd like to get. I mean, so just thinking through it now. If we get in Unit, we could well get the Grand Serpent back, which would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
please say this is like 90 minutes long, though. Don't.
I hope so. It's another
Yeah.
I mean,
I would hope it would make sense to have Joe in it.
if this is going to be another 47-minute episode, then it'll be toilet.
Yeah.
Again, we other things I'd say that I know obviously we got a special coming up with multi doctors. I'd love another doctor in this, or a modern. I've said this that I like a classic companion. A modern companion wouldn't go amiss either, or a modern character come back. Don't need to be a mainline companion. Give us Nardole. I don't care. I just give us another character that we're gonna go.
The return of Salad Man.
Yeah, do you know what? I would so much rather that they'd be the Daleks if that was him, even though it would have made sense if he died. If it was him again, look at the fireworks, then the guy from the crane. If that were,
drunk you walking past with a kebab, you're like, oh,
yeah.
wow.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. Like, look, like I said, my opinion. It's just I love the trailer, and I'll probably wake up tomorrow and be like, do you know what? I was being an idiot. But I just like half an hour after it sunk in, I was like, it's like watching Endgame for the first time or Infinity War, right? And not knowing at the end that snap's happening, right? It would be such a different experience. So it's a bunch of bollocks that I'm talking. I think the trailer was great. It made me go, I cannot fucking wait for, is it November, October?
October seems to be the general consensus, but we don't have a date as yet.
No.
October. It made me go, I can't fucking wait, right? Which is its job. I'm just sat there going, if I didn't know, and imagine my, reaction. But that's what ifs, buts, maybes. What do you guys make of the trailer?
Very, very excited, and I'll wait and see.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm very excited, but then I was very excited when I saw the trailer for tonight.
Reese?
Yeah, very excited. I'm quite pleased the Shad's coming back. It's quite cool, but watching like the Vanquishers and that, like, can it all be balanced? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm scared to go meet him at LFCC now because he might do what he did to you and be like, I can't say anything. You'd be like,
well, that was the day of the series 12 finale. I was like, yeah. I was like, no, it's all right. I'm not gonna ask.
Don't
worry, you're not gonna be like put into a compression unit, are you? Oh wait.
Possibly, who knows? But yeah, I'm excited. And look, I'm one of those people that it will probably hit me when Jodie leaves. Like I said, I've been a fan of this era. I know people haven't. It hasn't. I know, for example, Beef, you've not been a fan overall. You've enjoyed bits and pockets, but it's not really been for you. Whereas I would say that Capaldi's era is mostly misses and a few odd hits. I'm sorry, John. I know you disagree. Beef, I know you disagree. I know people disagree with that. But hey, the Tom Baker era was the same. 3 seasons of brilliance, 4 seasons of
Wrap it up.
Right.
I mean, just when you think it can't get any more controversial, Alex Kingdom starts shitting on Douglas Adams.
Anyway, right. There's been a bit of confusion of what's going on with the release order of the podcast in the next few weeks. So here is the bottom line. I'm not stone cold, but I said it anyway. This is out today. You'll watch this now. Originally, this week was going to be Endgame. That has been pushed back to next week. So next Monday, Avengers Endgame episode 98. Then you'll get an episode 99 of something. I don't know what it is yet. Episode 100 probably will be filmed before episode 99 is filmed. Episode 100 and episode 101 will be our Doctor Who episode ranking, where it's going to be us 4 plus Elijah plus Adam and Moon. We're going to sit there. We're going to look at our spreadsheet that we've made. Reese Marshall's going to get a black eye virtually through the opinions of Pertwee, and we're gonna have two amazing episodes of fun, and then we start again there. What you can expect post episodes 100 is me and John watching all the James Bond films. That's coming up now. Obviously, we got Spider-Man to review. The Doctor Who reviews will keep rolling on. And there'll be other things as well.
We're going to bring in some guest contributors for the James Bond films as well.
If people want to join, they can join.
Cool.
We're always welcome to people here joining on the show. The more, the merrier. So just absolutely. Thank you guys all for the support. We're nearing 300 subs on YouTube, which is mental considering when we started uploading, we were on like 14 because this used to be a channel where I was like 14 making videos myself, being like, well, hello there. So now that's grown to this, and
I dropped the bleach on the top of my head.
So some podcasts have got one of our podcasts with me and Reese has got over 30k views, which is crazy to me, and and that's mental that 30k plus want to watch me and Reese talk about Avengers Age of Ultron of all things. But there you go. But you guys can follow Jono at johnboy_cook on the socials. You can follow Reese at GF97 YouTuber. You follow Beef at the Beefhead. You follow me, Alex King_Dom. People also want me to shout out my Instagram for some reason. It's at Alex Kingdom 2001. I might change it to Alex King_Dom for symmetry reasons. But yes, and you can follow the Timeless Podcast at Timeless Pod. Because we'll be back next week with the Avengers Game podcast. There'll be an episode 99 and then the episode 100. It's happening. It's exciting. Get ready. It's going to be fun. There's gonna be tears probably from Reece Marshall.
Not for me.
If you wanna know what we're on about, go listen to the Time Flight podcast. At the very end of that, Jono says his piece about what he's gonna say to Reece Marshall. But yes, guys,
This podcast, that was good.
thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you guys all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Bright eyes burning like fire.